I told you that in just 30 days, your entire life could look completely different? Not by luck, not by chance, but by changing the tiny habits you repeat every single day. Because the truth is, your success or failure isn't written in your stars. It's written in your routines. The next 30 days could either transform your life or keep you exactly where you are. The choice is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hi, all, and welcome to BookPodCastZone.
It's great to be here, ready to dive into this. I'm Emma, and I am incredibly enthusiastic to be your guide today as we plunge into a deep dive on communication mastery. Really excited about this one.
And I'm John.
Ready to synthesize, analyze, and maybe apply some of that bigger context. Help us see the structure behind the change.
Right. And our mission today, well, it's a deep one. A really comprehensive dive into Marc Reklau's system for rapid lasting change. We're looking specifically at his big book, 30 Days, Habit Change for Life Transformation.
Which is quite something, 94 chapters packed into a 30-day plan.
Exactly. It sounds, well, almost impossibly ambitious, doesn't it? Transforming your whole life in just 1 month.
It does sound that way on the surface. But we're here to kind of unpack it, extract the actionable science behind that promise. What actually makes it work?
And as we go through this, we should probably think of it less like, just another motivational book and more like a structural renovation of your reality, really.
Ooh, I like that. A structural renovation.
We're looking at the invisible architects, right?
Yeah.
Your daily routines, they build your life day by day.
So true.
And for you, listening in, the focus is really critical here. It's about how you can use these specific actionable steps. Gain the knowledge quickly, cut through all that information overload we're constantly swimming in.
Oh, yeah, the overload is real.
And apply these ideas directly.
Yeah.
Especially to the, let's face it, pretty chaotic reality of the 2025 U.S. environment.
Totally. Like remote work burnout, that's huge.
Huge. And the gig economy's financial instability, the constant drain from social media fatigue.
It all adds up.
It does. So this isn't theoretical fluff. Think of it more like a field manual for navigating right now.
Absolutely. A field manual. Love it. Okay, so let's jump in. Where do we start?
We start at the beginning. Arc 1, Reklau calls it the wake-up call.
Right, the wake-up call. This is that crucial stage, isn't it? Shaking off autopilot mode and accepting the raw truth, which can sometimes be a bit uncomfortable.
Often is.
That it's your habits, not your circumstances, that really dictate where you end up, your success or lack of it.
Exactly. We have to start with the why. Why do habits matter so much before we even earn the right to talk about the how?
Makes sense. Lay the groundwork first.
In this foundational arc, it's essential because it digs into the neurological and psychological stuff, the conditioning.
Okay.
If you go into this whole 30-day thing doubting that your small actions actually matter,
Yeah.
well, you're probably not going to stick with it.
Right, you'll bail at the first hurdle.
Pretty much. So we have to tackle that belief system first. Convince ourselves that the small stuff is the big stuff.
Got it. Okay, chapter 1 then. The power of small changes. This feels like the core, doesn't it?
It's the mathematical engine of the whole book, really.
Reklau is so emphatic about this. Start micro. Just aim for 1% better each day, because that compounds into these massive shifts later on. And the dramatic highlight for me here, thinking about it, is the negative side of that, how failure compounds too.
Right, the downward spiral.
Yeah, like skipping the first small task in your morning routine, it seems tiny, right? But it can totally derail your whole day.
It can. It cascades.
It spirals into this chain reaction of, other small oversights, and suddenly your day feels like a disaster, but it started with something almost insignificant.
That spiral, that's what we call the negative slope of compounding. It's those tiny acts of erosion, bit of wasted time here, skipping reflection there, putting off exercise. They quietly diminish your long-term output. But Reklau's genius, really, is focusing us on the positive side of that equation.
Okay, so let's talk about the math again, because when you actually lay it out, it's kind of shocking.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just some cute analogy. It's exponential truth. It works way beyond finance. It's personal growth math.
So break it down for us.
Okay. If you commit to getting just 1% better, just 1%, every single day for a year, what happens? Mathematically, that's 1.01 raised to the power of 365. You end the year, get this, 37.78 times better than when you started.
Wow. 37 times. That's huge.
It's massive. But here's the kicker, the critical warning shot from the maths.
Yeah, okay.
If you slip just 1% every day, 0.99 to the power of 365, you basically decay down almost to zero. You become less than 3% of what you started with.
Oh my gosh. So the difference between being slightly better and slightly worse.
It's immense over time. But here's the sneaky part.
Right.
It's almost invisible day to day.
Right. That's the insidious thing, isn't it? You don't feel that tiny slip or that tiny gain until months later when the gap is enormous.
Exactly. Which is why this concept is so incredibly relevant right now, especially thinking about the U.S. gig economy in 2025.
Okay, connect those dots. How does the 1% rule help someone in that situation?
Okay, let's take that freelance designer. Working out of Austin, Texas, maybe
Right, juggling a million things.
a million things. Client calls, marketing themselves, invoicing, and actually doing the creative work. It leads to just crippling decision fatigue.
Been there, yeah.
So if that designer tries to implement some massive life-altering change like, I'm going to completely overhaul my entire 60-hour work week starting Monday.
What happens?
Failure. Immediate burnout.
Immediate failure. It's just too overwhelming. The psychological resistance is sky high when you're already running on empty. But the 1% better goal, that offers a genuine lifeline. Instead of that huge overhaul, they commit to something tiny.
Like what?
Like maybe tracking their time using a simple app for just 15 extra minutes a day. Or maybe just writing one clear, prioritized to-do list before they even glance at social media.
Okay, that feels doable, even when you're swamped. Exactly. That micro-commitment feels achievable against those constant energy demands. And the success of that tiny habit, it delivers a little dopamine hit.
The brain likes
The
that.
brain loves that. And it reinforces a new identity. Suddenly, they're not just overwhelmed freelancer. They're starting to see themselves as, hey, I'm actually a disciplined time manager.
It proves it works.
It proves consistency works, even when exhaustion is knocking at the door. It builds belief.
Okay, so we accept the power of the tiny change. But why do some habits stick, like super glue, while others just evaporate after a week? Chapter 5 tackles this, right?
It does. It gets into the underlying mechanics. Reklau explains that habits thrive on this psychological loop. Cues, cravings, and rewards.
The habit loop.
The habit loop. And the key is we have to hack this loop to rewire our default settings. We can't escape the loop, but we can redesign it.
And the dramatic highlight you mentioned, the midnight scroll, that feels like such a perfect example of a programmed response, not just a random bad choice.
It is. It's the villain in disguise, right? Stealing your sleep, luring you into exhaustion, all because of this loop running subconsciously.
So it's driven by this sneaky dopamine wiring.
Often, yes, it's subconscious. We need to dig into the neuroscience a bit here, which underpins this whole habit loop framework, the 4 steps of habit formation.
Okay, let's lay out those 4 steps again. And where's the most effective place to intervene? Where do we put our effort?
Right. The steps are 1, the cue. That's the trigger, seeing the phone on the nightstand.
Got it.
2, the craving. This is the motivational force, the desire. Not necessarily for Twitter, but maybe for novelty or distraction or escape.
Ah, okay. The underlying need.
Yes. 3 is the response, the actual action, picking up the phone, opening the app, scrolling. And 4, the reward, the outcome that satisfies the craving, even if only temporarily, like a brief hit of mental relief or distraction.
Okay, cue, craving, response, reward. So where's the leverage point?
The key insight, both from Reklau and from neuroscience, is that the most powerful intervention point is usually the craving.
The craving. Huh. That seems counterintuitive. Why not just change the response?
Because the craving tells you what you really want. What's the underlying need driving the behavior? You don't actually crave infinite scrolling through Instagram feeds.
Right. Nobody craves that specifically.
No. You crave the escape from stress or the stimulation of something new or maybe connection. If you can identify that true underlying craving, then you can consciously choose a different, healthier response that still delivers a similar reward. You satisfy the fundamental need without the negative side effect.
Okay, that makes sense. You're swapping out the mechanism, not ignoring the need.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's where the power of conscious design comes in. Think about applying this to something mundane, like household chores, a huge friction point for busy people.
Oh, yeah. Gamifying chores is big now.
Exactly. Consider using a popular U.S. app like Habitica, or honestly, even just a simple sticker chart on the fridge. You're externalizing the reward system for something that isn't inherently rewarding.
Like cleaning the kitchen sink right after dinner.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys that.
Right. So the cue is finished eating, cleared trigger.
Well,
The underlying craving might be complex, maybe a desire for order or control, or just that feeling of done before you relax. Instead of the brain defaulting to, say, escape this feeling by watching TV, the new designed response is clean the sink, immediately.
Okay.
And the reward isn't just the clean sink later. The immediate reward is getting those virtual points in the app or putting that sticker on the chart. Plus, that immediate satisfaction of a clean space signaling chore time over.
So it hacks the dopamine circuit directly.
It taps right into it, making ancient wisdom, a stitch in time saves 9,
Right.
feel relevant and rewarding for our modern dopamine-driven lives.
That's fascinating. Okay, if you're finding these insights helpful, folks, figuring out how to sort of hack your own brain chemistry to build changes that actually last, we definitely encourage you to like, subscribe, and share for more update. It helps us keep digging into this stuff.
Absolutely. And next up, we're tackling maybe the biggest enemy of any new habit, that voice inside your head.
Ugh. The inner critic. Let's talk about Chapter 12. Facing your inner critic.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah.
The third piece of that foundation, silencing the internal sabotage that almost always pops up when you try to change something significant.
It's that nagging voice, isn't it? The one whispering, you're not good enough, you'll never stick with this, trying to drag you back to what's familiar, even if it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. And Reklau argues this is a real emotional turning point. It requires deliberate, conscious effort. We have to move from that suffocating self-doubt to something that feels almost like defiant self-acceptance. But acceptance based on evidence.
Evidence. How do you get evidence against your own feelings?
The key strategy he offers is deceptively simple. Journal your wins. Write them down, no matter how tiny they seem.
Journaling wins.
Yes, because doing that builds up unshakable, documented proof of your competence, your effort, your worth. It directly counters the critic's narrative.
But why does writing it down work better than just, telling yourself, hey, I did okay today?
Because the inner critic doesn't operate on facts. It operates on emotion and vague, abstract fear.
Ah, okay.
He loves sweeping generalizations. You always mess up. You can't handle this. It's all feeling, no data. The journal, however, provides documented, specific, undeniable facts. When you write, today I completed my 10-minute walk, or I resisted the urge to check email first thing, you're logging data points.
So you're shifting from the emotional brain to the logical brain.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
You're engaging the prefrontal cortex, the evidence-based part, instead of just letting the amygdala, the fear center, run the show. The written proof is tangible. It's hard to argue with your own handwriting lifting achievements.
Okay, that makes sense. And why is this particularly crucial right now in 2025? What makes it so vital today?
Well, think about it. We're absolutely drowning in social media comparison culture. Peak comparison culture.
That's relentless.
Relentless. We're constantly bombarded with these highly curated highlight reels of everyone else's perceived success, the perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect vacation.
Yeah, makes your own messy reality feel pretty inadequate sometimes.
Exactly. Our real, complex, often difficult lives feel lacking in comparison. So Reklau's simple journaling tool, it becomes this quiet, daily act of rebellion.
Rebellion against the comparison trap.
Precisely. It's like building an internal shield against that external pressure, that feeling that you should be further along or doing better or looking happier.
Okay, let's make it concrete. The high school student in California you mentioned.
Perfect example. They're maybe constantly comparing test scores, college applications, even just perceived popularity on Instagram or TikTok. It's brutal. So they bomb a quiz. The inner critic immediately screams, see, you're a failure. You're not smart enough for this.
Yeah.
Total identity crisis.
Right.
Instead of spiraling down that hole, their new habit is journal the process, write down the 5 small, consistent study sessions they completed that week, document the effort, the discipline, the attempts.
So shifting focus from the outcome to the input.
Exactly. It changes the narrative. It's no longer, I am bad at math. It becomes, I am dedicated to the process of studying math, and here are 5 concrete data points proving I'm sticking with it, even when it's hard.
Wow. That written evidence of effort builds resilience. Real resilience.
Resilience that no perfectly filtered Instagram post can ever touch. It's internal validation based on action.
Okay, so we've set the mental stage. We understand the habit loop. We're documenting our competence to fight the critic.
Yeah.
Now comes the payoff, right? Chapter 18, the first win.
Yes. This is the moment that makes all that foundational work feel incredibly worthwhile.
Reklau describes it so vividly, that feeling of dawn breaking on a new routine, where something that felt impossible suddenly seems within reach, like tasting freedom after being stuck for ages.
That initial high, that first taste of victory, it's psychologically critical. It can wash away years of accumulated self-doubt and, importantly, ignite a genuine hunger for more progress. And the key idea Reklau gives us here is super practical. You must celebrate early. Acknowledge that first win to fuel momentum. Remember, consistency always beats perfection.
Okay, but why do people often wait so long to celebrate? Is it that perfectionism thing again? Like, I only deserve a reward when I've fully reached the giant goal.
It's often exactly that, rooted in perfectionism, which, ironically, is the single biggest killer of consistency when you're trying to build habits.
Right. If you wait for perfect, you'll wait forever.
Because perfect doesn't exist. Momentum is psychological fuel. Yeah. Celebrating those small, early wins sends an immediate, powerful signal back to your brain. Hey, this new thing, it's working, it feels good, do it again. It reinforces the new identity you're trying to build.
I am someone who follows through.
Exactly. I am someone who can do this.
This chapter really makes me think about all those viral challenges we see online. You know, the 75 hard, the 30-day glow-ups. What's the real difference between a temporary challenge like that and a lasting habit, according to Reklau?
That's a great question. A challenge is often driven by external motivation. The rules of the challenge, the community, the deadline. And frequently, the behavior stops the day the challenge ends.
Right. Been there.
A lasting habit, as Reklau defines it, becomes internally motivated, becomes part of who you are. And the celebration of that first win is crucial for converting that initial external effort into lasting internal drive.
Okay, example time. That former office worker in Chicago, maybe gained weight during the pandemic, wants to get active again.
Right, they want a new physical routine. But the thought of signing up for a gym membership they probably won't use just feels like setting themselves up for another failure. It's daunting.
They need a win they can actually achieve, a micro win.
Precisely. So their first win isn't running a 5K. It's not even going to the gym once. It's completing a simple, maybe 10-minute walk every morning for just 3 days in a row.
3 days, that's it.
That's it. But achieving that, that's a massive shift in identity. They've gone from identifying as someone who can't get started to someone who is capable of being consistent. Celebrating that initial consistency, maybe by buying themselves a new pair of comfy walking socks or brewing a fancy tea they enjoy afterwards, sends that vital signal. It ignites the hunger for day 4, day 5. It makes the process rewarding.
So Arc 1 is complete. We've moved from autopilot to intentional action. We've laid the groundwork.
The foundation is set. Now we move into Arc 2, where the internal changes start bumping up against the outside world. All right, welcome to Arc 2, Momentum Builds. We've done the internal work in Arc 1. Now that internal work starts colliding with the outer world, our mindset, our environment, our relationships.
This feels like where the rubber meets the road, where internal shifts start creating real, tangible, external liberation.
Exactly. It's about how our mindset shapes our reality, and crucially, how setting healthy boundaries allows for deeper, more meaningful connections. Hashtag 2.1. Rewiring your mindset, chapter 25.
Okay, chapter 25 dives right into those mindset shifts. This is about actively rewiring how we see the world, the core idea. We need to consciously swap that default scarcity thought, I can't, for an abundance question. How can I? It's a fundamental reframe.
And Reklau's daily practice for this is gratitude journaling. He argues it can flip that scarcity switch to abundance almost overnight.
And it's more than just, feeling warm and fuzzy. It's a cognitive reframing technique. The dramatic highlight here is imagining turning one of those stressful gridlock moments.
Yeah, where you feel totally stuck.
Totally stuck, mentally or physically, turning that into a golden opportunity. It's like that heavy fog of negativity just lifts, and suddenly you see a horizon full of possibilities, problems you can actually solve.
This feels incredibly relevant right now, especially with all the uncertainty. Thinking about the 2025 job market, AI disruptions, it's easy to feel powerless.
Absolutely. This chapter acts like a mental shield for resilience in times like these. It blends classic Stoic philosophy focus on what you can control with the modern mindfulness boom.
So how does asking, how can I, actually work in the brain? Does it change anything physically? It does, actually. When you ask, how can I, instead of stating, I can't, you tend to bypass the brain's fear center, the amygdala, which triggers fight or flight. Instead, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the logical problem-solving part of your brain. You're priming yourself to look for solutions, not just react to threats.
And the gratitude journaling enhances that.
It turbocharges it. By regularly focusing on what you do have, what resources are available, what opportunities exist, you train your brain to spot more of them. You shift from a deficit focus to an asset focus.
So you're not ignoring the challenges, you're just approaching them like an engineer. Okay, here's the problem. What tools do I add?
Exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Let's take that mid-career tech professional in Silicon Valley. They're worried their job's becoming obsolete because of AI.
A very real fear for many.
Very real. The immediate fear-based, I can't responses, I can't compete, I'm too old, I don't have the new skills. Dead end. Reklau's shift turns that fear into a question. Okay, this is happening. How can I leverage AI as a tool to make my existing skills, maybe strategic thinking, client relationships, project management, even more valuable?
That's a completely different energy. It's proactive.
Totally different energy. And then the gratitude practice anchors it. Immediately following that question, they journal. I'm grateful for my deep industry knowledge. I'm grateful for my strong professional network. I'm grateful I have access to online courses to learn about AI.
So they're consciously building their resilience toolkit.
They're using their mindset to reframe the external challenge into a surmountable obstacle, transforming fear into strategy. That's a powerful shield against professional anxiety. Hashtag, tag 2.2. The Art of Boundaries, Chapter 35.
Okay, moving outward from our internal mindset, we hit Chapter 35. And this might be one of the most critical lessons for, frankly, the modern, perpetually overscheduled American.
Oh, boundaries.
Oh, boundaries, yes. So important, so hard sometimes. The emotional shift here feels huge, moving from that constant people-pleasing exhaustion.
That soul-drained, leaky battery feeling.
Exactly. To the liberation, the sheer relief, that comes from saying a firm, kind, but definite no. Realizing that no creates space for your own joy, your own priorities.
And Reklau's key idea is crystal clear. Protect.
Yeah.
Energy. Healthy no's aren't about shutting people out. They're about making room for deeper, more intentional yeses in your work, in your relationships, in your life.
This is so spot on for today, isn't it? This always-on culture, the hybrid work model blurring everything, home, hustle, it all just blends together.
It's a recipe for chronic depletion. And we need to analyze the difference Reklau points out between just a transactional boundary, like I won't answer emails after 6 p.m., and a truly intentional boundary.
What's the difference?
An intentional boundary isn't just about limits. It's about communicating your needs to thrive. It's rooted in your values. Saying no to that small, non-urgent request from a colleague at 7 p.m. isn't just saying no to them.
It's saying yes to something else.
It's saying a massive yes to your larger priority.
Me.
Maybe that's focused family time. Maybe it's mental rest. Maybe it's working on your own passion project. It's strategic energy preservation, not selfishness.
Okay, let's use the example of the remote worker, maybe in Denver, Colorado. Their work hours just bleed into evenings, weekends, because the laptop is right there. They feel guilty if they don't respond instantly.
A classic scenario. Their new boundary habit needs to be concrete, maybe even ritualistic. It can't just be a vague intention.
So like a physical action.
Yes, a physical power down ritual. Maybe at 5 p.m. sharp, no matter what's pinging, they close the office door if they have one, physically shut the laptop, and maybe even put their work phone in a designated drawer in another room.
Ooh, the drawer is good. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. That physical no to the immediate work notification is what protects their mental energy for their deeper yeses.
Yep.
Coaching their kid's soccer game, having a proper conversation with their partner, reading a book.
And that protected downtime actually makes them better when they're working.
Absolutely. It restores their capacity to focus and be creative when they plug back in the next morning.
Yeah.
Defending that personal space isn't slacking off. It's essential maintenance.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. If we're finding these ideas useful, figuring out how to apply these mindset shifts, how to reclaim your energy with boundaries. Again, we really encourage you to like, subscribe, and share for more update. It tells us you want more of this practical breakdown.
Definitely. And next, we're moving into how these internal shifts impact our connections with others. Hashtag tag 2.3, building unbreakable connections. Chapter 42. All right, in a world where, let's be honest, a lot of virtual contact can feel pretty superficial.
Quantity over quality sometimes.
Exactly. Chapter 42 provides a much-needed lesson on building unbreakable connections.
Yeah.
Real connections. Reklau boils it down to 2 core actions. Listen actively and show up vulnerably.
Vulnerably. That's the scary one.
It is. But he insists networks, real networks, aren't built on just transactional exchanges. What can you do for me? They're built on deep, earned trust.
And the dramatic contrast you mentioned really hits home. That feeling of loneliness in a packed virtual room, like a giant Zoom call where nobody's really connecting.
Yeah. Awkward silence personified.
Versus that immediate spark of belonging you feel when just one person reaches out genuinely, authentically, it changes everything.
And this is so relevant now. with virtual and hybrid meetups still being a huge part of our social and professional lives in 2025.
Yeah.
Reklau's tips aren't just for face-to-face. They're designed to supercharge these online platforms.
How so? Like turning LinkedIn from just a resume site into something more?
Precisely. Or using professional Slack channels not just for quick questions, but as places where genuine professional friendships and alliances can actually form, but it requires intention.
Okay, let's break down active listening. What's the real difference between just politely waiting for your turn to talk and truly absorbing what someone else is saying?
It's huge. Waiting to speak is fundamentally self-focused. You're rehearsing your reply in your head. Active listening is partner-focused. It involves things like reflective listening. So if I understand correctly, you're saying asking clarifying, deeper questions that show you are actually processing, not just waiting. It shows genuine curiosity.
And then there's the vulnerability piece. Why is that necessary to get past superficial connections?
Because superficiality is safe. It requires no risk. Vulnerability, sharing a relevant struggle, admitting you don't know something, expressing genuine empathy is risky. But that risk is precisely what builds trust and intimacy. It shows you're human.
Okay, let's use the example of the recent college grad. Maybe in a competitive place like New York City, trying to network.
Right. If they approach networking purely transactionally, "Hi, here are my skills, can you get me a job?" The exchange is shallow. It's forgettable. People see right through it.
Yeah, it feels kind of desperate.
It can. But if instead they focus on genuine curiosity, maybe they ask a potential mentor deeper questions, not just about their successes, but about a challenge they faced, a failure they learned from, their biggest career lesson.
That takes guts.
It does. It shows vulnerability from the asker, "I'm trying to learn," and invites vulnerability from the mentor. It fosters trust, respect. It creates an authentic relationship that's far more likely to last and, ironically, probably far more likely to lead to great opportunities down the road than the purely transactional ask. Hashtag tag 2.4, Overcoming Procrastination's Grip, Chapter 48.
All right, the final piece of Arc 2. We need to tackle the monster under the bed for so many of us in this distraction-filled world. Procrastination. That feeling of just being stuck.
Chapter 48 gives us a powerful antidote. Reklau's key idea is almost absurdly simple, yet profound. Break tasks down into ridiculous microsteps. Why? Because action kills fear much, much faster than planning ever could.
I love that feeling you described, the paralysis giving way to flow, where that sudden rush of, hey, I actually did something, drowns out all those old, tired excuses.
Exactly. Procrastination often feels like you're being mocked by the blank page or staring up at an impossibly steep mountain. Reklau teaches us to just chip away at the base with tiny, tiny steps until the whole thing starts to crumble.
This strategy feels tailor-made for the modern U.S. worker's reality, doesn't it? The endless browser tabs, the constant context switching, the fractured attention spans.
It's a direct countermeasure. We have to unpack this ridiculous micro strategy. It's often called the 2-minute rule in other habit literature.
The 2-minute rule?
The core principle is recognizing that the biggest psychological barrier is often just starting. The initiation energy required feels huge.
Getting over that initial hump.
Exactly. So by making the very first step so tiny, so incredibly micro, that it takes less than 2 minutes to complete, you eliminate the friction, you bypass the fear and the inertia. And once you've started, Newton's first law kicks in: an object in motion tends to stay in motion.
Okay, give us that U.S. example again, because dealing with huge, overwhelming tasks is such a common source of anxiety.
Absolutely. Think about someone facing a truly daunting task, like creating a comprehensive repayment plan for significant student loan debt, a massive source of stress for millions.
Totally paralyzing for many.
Right. The thought of trying to budget for the whole year, calculate interest rates, figure out payoff strategies, it's terrifying, so they just avoid it, procrastinate. The ridiculous microtask isn't create entire budget. It's open the budgeting spreadsheet. That's step 1. Step 2, fill in the last 3 transactions from your bank account. That's it.
That sounds almost too easy, like it wouldn't accomplish anything.
It's designed to feel too easy. It's a tiny, frictionless action. But what happens? The spreadsheet is open. Their mind is now engaged. Even in simple data entry, action has begun. The flow starts.
The psychological block is broken.
Exactly. And once that block is broken, they're suddenly far, far more likely to take the next small step, maybe calculating their grocery spending for the week. It transforms paralysis into progress, one tiny step at a time.
Okay, wow. So we've laid the emotional foundation, we've built momentum by managing our mindset and boundaries, we've fostered better connections, and we've learned how to actually start those daunting tasks.
The engine is running.
The engine is running. So how do we keep that fire going? How do we make it sustainable? To find out how to stack habits effectively and really conquer time, we strongly encourage you, one more time, to like, subscribe, and share for more update. Let us know you're with us as we dive deep into Arc 3, Sustaining the Fire.
Okay, welcome to Arc 3, Sustaining the Fire. This is the execution phase, pure and simple. The first two arcs gave us the why and the how to start. This arc is about discipline.
Right, turning those initial sparks into a steady, reliable blaze.
Exactly. We're moving from fleeting motivation to embedded routines. This arc focuses on things like focused daily schedules, using physical energy strategically, and rigorous prioritization. This is where discipline starts to feel less like a chore and more like freedom. Hashtag tag 3.1. Daily routines that stick. Chapter 55.
Chapter 55 gives us a core tactic for making this discipline automatic, habit stacking. The idea is to link habits together, one after another, creating this seamless autopilot that guides you towards your best self.
It leverages existing momentum.
And the dramatic highlight here is that feeling of transforming morning chaos. You know, frantic searching for keys, skipping breakfast, feeling rushed into focused, calm flow, anchoring your day with powerful, predictable rituals.
And this idea of seamless linking fits so well with the rise of wellness technology we see in 2025. Think about Oura rings, Apple Watches, Fitbits.
Yeah, tracking everything, sleep, activity, heart rate.
Exactly. These devices give us incredibly detailed data about our own energy patterns.
Yeah.
When do we peak? When do we dip? Knowing that allows us to strategically place new habits using stacking. We can anchor a demanding new habit to an existing routine right when our track data suggests we'll have the most energy for it.
Okay, walk us through the habit stacking formula again. How does it actually work?
It's beautifully simple, almost like code. The formula is, after our current habit, I will new habit.
Okay.
The crucial insight is that the current habit, something you already do consistently without thinking, like brushing your teeth or pouring coffee, acts as a solid, reliable trigger or cue for the next action.
Ah, so you don't need willpower to remember the new habit. The old one reminds you.
Precisely. By linking the new desired behavior to an already established one, you dramatically lower the activation energy needed. The decision fatigue is gone. The path is laid out.
So adding something positive feels less like adding a burden and more like just the next natural step in the sequence.
Exactly. Let's take that working parent in Philadelphia. They're struggling to find any time for mindfulness or meditation. The thought of carving out a separate 30-minute block? Impossible. Feels like adding Mount Everest to their to-do list.
Yeah, totally unrealistic for many.
But with habit stacking, the equation changes completely. Their formula becomes, after I pour my first cup of coffee, current habit, I will sit and meditate for 2 minutes, new habit, before I touch my phone.
2 minutes and link to the coffee. That feels achievable.
Very achievable. The coffee is the anchor, the non-negotiable start. And crucially, putting the meditation before checking the phone prevents the day from immediately becoming reactive.
Right, it protects those first few moments.
Yes. The current habit, coffee, triggers the new one, meditation. The reward of the coffee is immediately followed by the reward of starting the day with a moment of calm clarity. It establishes a proactive baseline before the inevitable chaos of the day kicks in. Hashtag tag 3.2. Exercise is your secret weapon. Chapter 62.
Okay, next up, Chapter 62. This feels like a huge emotional lever.
Yeah.
Exercise as your secret weapon. It's about shifting how we even think about movement.
Absolutely. It's a fundamental reframe.
Moving away from that sluggishness, maybe even self-loathing that comes with physical fatigue, and swapping it for the fierce pride and mental clarity that movement brings. Reklau's message is clear. Move daily. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, it's fuel for your focus and an on-demand mood booster.
And the science backs this up completely. It's a powerful chemical intervention. The couch might be calling your name like a siren.
Oh, it sings a sweet song.
It does.
Yeah.
But choosing to lace up your shoes, even for a short burst, unleashes this flood of endorphins that actively quiets down anxiety and self-doubt. It's like an internal storm clearing the air.
Especially relevant now with mental health awareness being so much higher. Reframing exercise not as punishment or just for looks, but as essential brain fuel and stress management.
Exactly. It's not primarily about weight loss in this context. It's about optimizing cognitive function and emotional regulation.
Okay, let's get specific. What's the biological connection? How does that quick 5-minute walk actually translate into better focus at your desk?
It's pretty direct. Movement immediately increases blood flow and oxygen delivery to the entire brain, especially the prefrontal cortex, your executive function center.
Okay, more fuel for the thinking part.
More fuel. Plus, even a short burst of moderate activity boosts levels of key neurotransmitters like dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. These are crucial for mood stability, maintaining attention span, and controlling impulses. It acts like a quick biological reset button.
So it clears the mental fog better than another cup of coffee.
Often, yes. It addresses the underlying physiology in a way caffeine can't. And the beauty here, as Reklau emphasizes, is the focus on accessible wins. This isn't about needing a fancy gym membership.
Right, which connects to all those free U.S. fitness apps like Nike Training Club or YouTube channels. Exercise is more accessible than ever.
Totally. Think about that financial analyst in Seattle. Their job requires long stretches of intense, focused sitting. By 2 p.m., they're hitting a wall, mentally and physically.
The dreaded afternoon slump.
The slump. Their 5-minute move isn't a stressful, time-consuming trip to the gym. It's maybe taking every internal conference call while walking briskly around the office floor, or doing a quick loop around the block between tasks.
So integrating movement into the workday, not adding to it.
Precisely. They're using movement as a necessary built-in reset tool to maintain focus and energy. They're essentially trading 5 minutes of sitting for potentially hours of improved productivity and mood. It's a strategic investment.
Okay, this is making so much sense. If you're finding these insights on building routines and harnessing energy helpful, if you're ready to take back control, you know the drill. Please like, subscribe, and share for more update. It keeps us fueled up too. Next, we tackle the biggest drain on modern productivity. Time thieves. Hashtag 3.3. Taming time thieves. Chapter 70.
All right, Chapter 70 gets down to brass tacks. It addresses the brutal necessity of ruthless prioritization in a world designed to steal your attention.
Ruthless prioritization. Sounds intense. The dramatic highlight here is that sickening feeling when you realize hours, entire chunks of your day have just vanished, sucked away by notifications, emails, low-value tasks.
The thief in your pocket, as Reklau calls it, the smartphone.
Right, and you only reclaim that time through conscious, intentional, sometimes difficult choices about what truly matters.
And the core tool Reklau champions for this is the classic Eisenhower matrix. Simply understanding the difference between what's urgent and what's important is, he argues, what separates the dreamers from the doers.
The Eisenhower matrix. Urgent versus important. This feels absolutely essential for anyone navigating the 2025 U.S. economy, especially the creator economy or gig work.
No, definitely. When you're juggling side hustles, client demands, maybe a full-time job, your own marketing, attention is your most precious, most competed for resource. The matrix provides clarity.
Okay, break down the matrix for us again, the 4 quadrants.
It's simple but powerful. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. These are crises, deadlines. You have to do these immediately.
Got it. Fires to put out.
Quadrant 2, not urgent, but important. This is the magic quadrant. Planning, relationship building, exercise, learning, strategic thinking. You need to schedule time for these.
Okay, the crucial proactive stuff.
Quadrant 3, urgent, but not important. These are often interruptions, some meetings, other people's minor priorities. The goal is to delegate or automate these, if possible.
Tricky but important.
Quadrant 4, not urgent, important, time wasters. Mindless scrolling, some emails, busy work. You need to delete or drastically minimize these.
Okay, do, schedule, delegate, delete. But where do most people get stuck?
The failure point for almost everyone is living primarily in quadrants 1 and 3, constantly reacting to the urgent, whether it's important or not.
And the real progress, the life transformation stuff, that lives in quadrant 2.
Exclusively. All the things Reklau's book promotes, building good habits, planning your future, nurturing relationships, taking care of your health, they live in quadrant 2. They are incredibly important, but rarely urgent on any given day.
So they get pushed aside constantly by the tyranny of the urgent.
Constantly. The habit we have to build, the discipline required, is to protect time for quadrant 2 activities. Treat them as sacred appointments with your future self.
Okay, let's use the example of the content producer in Atlanta. Juggling multiple clients, their own brand, constant emails. They're living in quadrant 1 firefighter mode. How do they apply the matrix ruthlessly?
Okay, first step is brutal honesty in categorization. That urgent client revision request. That's Q1, do it now, responding instantly to every social media comment. That's probably Q3, urgent, feels like it, but not important, doesn't build a business long term. Delegate it or batch it. Mindlessly scrolling competitor feeds. Q4, delete.
Right, but the game changer is quadrant 2.
The game changer is how they treat, say, planning next quarter's content strategy or researching a new platform. That's Q2. Not urgent today, but absolutely important for future growth.
So they have to schedule it, like actually block time.
They must block out, say, 2 solid, uninterrupted hours every Monday morning, specifically for that Q2 strategic work. And this is key. They must defend that block ruthlessly against incoming Q1 and Q3 requests.
Learn to say, not right now.
Learn to say, I see your urgent email and I will address it at 10 a.m. after this scheduled strategic block, which is crucial for our long-term success. The Matrix gives them the framework and the justification to prioritize their future over someone else's immediate, often minor crisis. Hashtag 3.4, Nutrition for the Soul and Body, Chapter 78.
Okay, the final piece of this Arc 3 productivity puzzle. Fuel. Chapter 78 focuses on nutrition, but framed specifically for energy and focus. We have to eat for sustained energy, not for emotional escape.
Food is a tool, not just a comfort.
And the emotional turning point here is moving past the cycle of eating junk, crashing, feeling ashamed, and then doing it again, and instead cultivating compassionate self-nurturing, understanding deeply that junk fuel inevitably leads to mental and physical crashes.
Reklau frames it perfectly.
Yeah.
Whole foods amplify focus. Processed foods fend off slumps only temporarily, then cause bigger ones. This resonates strongly with current 2025 wellness trends in the U.S.
Yeah, the rise of functional foods, plant-based eating framed around a mental clarity, cognitive performance.
Exactly. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are full of content framing food choices, not just around weight or appearance, but around brain health, vitality, optimal performance. Food is increasingly presented as a high-performance tool.
So what's the actual science here, the connection between, say, blood sugar and mental focus?
It's all about stability. When you eat simple carbs or sugary foods, you get a rapid spike in blood sugar. That feels like energy initially. But your body releases insulin to counteract it, often overshooting, which leads to the infamous crash.
The mid-afternoon slump, foggy brain, low energy, craving more sugar.
The exact cycle. It's the antithesis of sustained productivity and focus. By choosing complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and lean proteins whole foods, you get a much slower, more sustained release of energy. Your blood sugar stays relatively stable.
And stable blood sugar equals stable mental focus.
And more stable emotional equilibrium, too. You avoid the peaks and valleys. This translates directly into the ability to concentrate for longer periods, make better decisions, and resist impulsive behavior.
Okay, let's apply this directly to that typical American office culture scenario. 3 p.m. hits, energy plummets. The usual response is a trip to the vending machine or the break room donuts.
The kiss of death for afternoon productivity. Instead of reaching for those processed, sugary snacks that guarantee a crash and burn cycle, the intentional, Reklau-inspired choice is different.
What's the swap?
Opting for high-fiber, whole food options, like an apple with a tablespoon of peanut butter, or a small handful of almonds, or some Greek yogurt, things that provide sustained energy.
And framing that choice not as, oh, I'm on a diet, I can't have the cookie, but
as, I am making a strategic decision to fuel myself for better focus and productivity at 4 p.m. This choice supports my goals. It reframes nutrition from restriction to empowerment. You're actively choosing to fuel a mind that soars, not one that crashes.
Wow. Okay, so Arc 3 is done. We've built the routines, harnessed energy through movement and food, and learned to protect our time. The system is running.
The system is operational. Now, how do we ensure it lasts? How do we play the long game?
Exactly. How do we make sure this transformation sticks for life and maybe even impacts the world around us? You know what to do, folks. Like, subscribe, and share for more update. Let's head into the final arc, the long game.
All right, welcome to the final arc, Arc 4, the long game. This is the crescendo. This is where we move beyond just fixing ourselves and start thinking about lasting impact and securing the vision.
Sealing the deal. Making sure these 30 days weren't just a flash in the pan, but a genuine launch pad for a transformed life.
Precisely. We're focusing on vision, resilience against setbacks, and ultimately defining the legacy we want to leave through our changed habits. Hashtag 4.1. Goal setting that ignites. Chapter 82.
Chapter 82 kicks this off by talking about the kind of goals that actually pull us forward. It contrasts those vague, hazy dreams that just sort of drift around like smoke.
Passive wishes.
Yeah, passive wishes. Contrasting those with crystal clear visions. Goals so specific and compelling they act like a magnet, pulling you forward, making the future feel real and tangible now. That's the dramatic highlight for me.
It's about making the future an active force in the present. And Reklau insists on structure here. We need SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound with defined milestones along the way.
And the visualization piece. He says visualize daily to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be.
Yes, and this connects directly to modern techniques. Think about the resurgence of vision boarding, maybe using digital tools like Pinterest in 2025. It's about turning those abstract aspirations into concrete, actionable images and plans.
But is visualization just wishful thinking? Like, if I picture it, it will magically happen?
Not the way Reklau describes it. It's not magic, it's mental rehearsal.
Hmm.
When you vividly visualize achieving your goal, feeling the emotions, seeing the steps involved, you're literally priming the neural pathways in your brain.
So you're training your brain to recognize the opportunities.
You're training it to recognize opportunities, overcome anticipated obstacles, and take the necessary actions because the scenario already feels familiar. You've run the simulation many times in your mind.
Okay, let's make it concrete. The new small business owner in Florida. What's the difference between a weak goal and a smart visualized goal?
Okay, the vague, weak goal is, I want my business to be successful and make a lot of money. Okay, what does that even mean?
Right, totally unactionable.
The SMART goal is laser-focused. I will sign 10 new recurring clients, each paying at least $500 per month by the end of Q2 2026. That's specific, measurable, achievable, hopefully relevant, and time-bound. Now add the visualization. This progress will be tracked weekly in my CRM, and every morning I will spend 5 minutes visualizing my ideal future office space, looking at a printout of it, while reviewing my projected profit and loss statement showing those 10 clients.
Wow, that makes the future feel incredibly real and immediate.
It becomes tangible, electric. It creates that magnetic pull, motivating the necessary daily actions, the sales calls, the marketing efforts needed to bridge the gap between now and Q2 2026. They're not just hoping, they're rehearsing success. Hashtag 4.2. Handling setbacks like a pro.
Chapter 88.
Okay, so you've got your inspiring goal, you're taking action, but then inevitably something goes wrong. A setback happens. Chapter 88 tackles this reality.
And it's crucial, because a stumble, a failure, can feel like it's going to topple the whole structure you've built. It brings crushing disappointment.
See, I knew I couldn't do it feeling. Exactly. But the emotional turning point Reklau guides us towards is realizing that setback doesn't have to be the end. Resilient grit can actually alchemize that disappointment into your greatest teacher. You rise wiser, not weaker.
This sounds very much like the fail forward or fail fast mantra we hear so much in U.S. startup culture and on entrepreneurial podcasts today.
It resonates strongly. The core idea is powerful. Reframe failures not as judgments on your worth, but simply as feedback, as data, and then pivot fast based on that data to stay in the game.
Okay, that reframing is key. Avoiding internalizing it, I am a failure, and instead externalizing it, this strategy or approach failed. That's a massive psychological shift.
Massive. And Reklau argues the ultimate habit we need to cultivate here isn't achieving perfection because that's impossible. The real skill, the meta habit, is recovery speed.
Recovery speed.
How quickly can you analyze why the setback occurred, extract the lesson, adjust your strategy accordingly, and get back in the game? That resilience, that ability to bounce back quickly, that's everything. Perfection is fragile. Resilience is robust.
Okay, let's use the example of the student in Arizona. They fail a big, crucial certification exam for their desired career path. Devastating.
Totally devastating. The emotional reaction might be paralysis, wanting to quit, feeling like it's proof they're not cut out for it.
Right, the internalizing reaction.
Exactly. The resilient, Reklau-inspired response is different. Instead of quitting, they immediately treat the failure as data. They get the score report, analyze the sections. Okay, I bombed the simulations, but did okay on multiple choice. That's feedback.
So they're treating the failure as an input for the next attempt.
Precisely. Based on that data, they schedule a new, hyper-focused 30-day study plan, specifically targeting their weak areas, the simulations. They pivot based on the evidence, not on the emotion of disappointment, keeps them moving forward, and ensures the failure served a valuable, instructive purpose. Hashtag 4.3. Creating your legacy, Chapter 92. Now we get to Chapter 92, which takes a significant turn. It broadens the focus dramatically, shifting from purely self-mastery towards communal impact, towards creating your legacy.
This feels like the peak of the mountain. Moving beyond just optimizing yourself to thinking about the ripples you create in the world. Reklau reminds us that life isn't just lived for ourselves, it leaves echoes.
Echoes that ripple through others long after we're gone. The emotional turning point here is that profound expansion from self-focus, how can I be better, to purpose-driven contribution, how can my improvement help others?
And the key idea is simple but powerful. True success multiplies when it lifts others up. We need to mentor, share our knowledge, give back.
This connects so well with the growing emphasis on social impact we see in 2025. You see it on platforms like LinkedIn highlighting volunteering, people sharing their give back initiatives. It's becoming a recognized part of a successful life.
So success isn't a zero-sum game where my win is your loss. It's a multiplier effect.
Exactly. Reklau suggests moving away from that scarcity mindset of competition towards an abundance mindset of contribution. And here's a fascinating side benefit he implies. Teaching a habit or skill to someone else is one of the most powerful ways to cement it in your own life.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because when you have to teach something, you're forced to articulate it clearly, simplify it, anticipate questions, maybe even defend it. That process deeply reinforces your own understanding and commitment. You have to truly own it to teach it effectively.
Okay, give us a concrete example of what a legacy habit might look like.
Let's take an established professional, maybe in Detroit, Michigan. They've really mastered the 30-day habit routines from Reklau's book, Consistency, Prioritization, Boundaries. They've got it down.
Okay. They've achieved personal mastery.
Right. Their legacy habit now becomes dedicating, say, 1 hour every single week to mentoring someone newer in their field, maybe a college student, maybe someone just starting out. They actively teach the principles of consistency, goal-setting, resilience that worked for them.
Passing the torch.
Passing the torch. That small, dedicated act of mentorship is a profound contribution. It multiplies their own success. It turns their personal achievement into shared capability within their community or industry. It ensures the wisdom, the positive habits, outlive their initial personal goal. Hashtag 4.4. The 30-day reflection. Chapter 94.
And so we arrive at the end of the conceptual 30 days, chapter 94. The 30-day reflection. This is that moment where you metaphorically look in the mirror and see the transformed person staring back. Maybe still familiar, but different. Maybe with a little more fire in their eyes. It's the culmination, the celebration of all those tiny, compounded 1% wins.
And the key idea here is the crucial meta-habit. Review, refine, repeat. Change isn't a destination you arrive at on day 31. It's a continuous cycle, a process.
Right. The 30 days aren't the finish line. They're just the first lap, or maybe the launching pad.
Exactly, a launching pad. This chapter is ideal for understanding that. The reflection isn't just about patting yourself on the back. It's about structured review. What worked seamlessly? Where did I face resistance? Why did I stumble on day 17? What were the environmental triggers?
So you need data on your own process.
You need the data to inform the next cycle. And for you, the listener, the application here is immediate and vital. You take the momentum from your successful 30-day cycle. Maybe you nailed daily exercise, or finally beat procrastination on a key project, or got consistent with time tracking.
You build on that success.
You immediately roll that momentum, that feeling of competence, into the next 30-day cycle. You consciously choose a new micro-habit or a slightly harder version of the last one to tackle for the next month while continuing to maintain the habits you just successfully installed.
So the cycle just begins again, but from a stronger starting point.
Exactly. It restarts with more wisdom, more confidence, and a proven track record. The habit becomes the process of continuous improvement itself. Hashtag tag outro. Wow. We really covered a huge amount of ground today, didn't we? We essentially synthesized Marc Reklau's dense 94 chapters into, hopefully, a practical blueprint for transformation.
Absolutely. It was a journey.
We started with that foundational understanding, Arc 1, that tiny habits are the key, that they compound dramatically over time.
Then Arc 2, building resilience, setting those crucial boundaries, improving our mindset and connections.
And Arc 3, the execution phase, cementing powerful routines for productivity, using wellness as fuel, conquering time thieves.
And finally, Arc 4, the long game setting, igniting goals, handling setbacks, thinking about legacy, and committing to the cycle of reflection and repetition.
It's a comprehensive system.
It really is. And we started with a powerful truth from Reklau, and it feels right to close with it too. Your success, your future, it truly is written in your daily routines, not predetermined by your stars or circumstances.
Every single day offers a choice.
Every day, every tiny action is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. The only way to win that long game is by focusing on winning the day, consistently.
Well said. Now, as we wrap up, here's that final provocative thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
We spent this whole deep dive showing how 30 days of consistent, focused 1% effort can dramatically change your individual life, your health, your career, your mindset.
The personal impact is clear.
But what if you applied this exact same 30-day compounding concept that Relentless consistency over perfection, those micro actions stacking up. What if you apply that to a broader societal challenge?
Ooh, interesting. Taking it beyond the self.
Yeah. What macro change could you realistically contribute to in your own local U.S. community? Think about local environmental policy or sustained civic engagement beyond Election Day, or maybe helping build collective long-term financial stability, or even tackling issues like chronic loneliness in your neighborhood.
So applying the 1% rule to community issues.
What could happen if you, maybe with a small group, committed to just one tangible 1% improvement action in one of those areas every single day for just 1 month? The power of compound interest, of intentional, consistent effort. It doesn't stop at your own front door. It can absolutely apply to the world around you, too. Something to think about.
Wow. That definitely leaves us with something to ponder, a powerful extension of the core idea.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this very deep dive into Marc Reklau's framework. It was a pleasure exploring it.
It really was a pleasure sharing these insights and hopefully providing a usable blueprint for transformation. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time on Book Podcast Zone.